fortunate to see him for the last weekend before he passed. I came down to visit, and he asked, sort of the same thing, And so I was able to see that light of recognition in him. And then he said, he asked me, are we related? And I said, yes, I'm your granddaughter. And he looked at me and he said, oh, blah, 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 blah. He took my thing. No dentures, nothing. It was really great. Even then, he just had this, reflexive, the first line is love. And I think I'll always carry that with me.
So we can open it up if anyone would like to say anything. We'll open it up.
In the meantime, while you're recollecting,
we were opening it up to everybody else.
They'll be quiet. I want you to get out and be like, open up. No, go ahead, go ahead. कोण येते का? ये ग तुझी केवढी हे होती. No, about Anupam was talking about dementia. He went through last 4 years in complete dementia. He wouldn't know anybody except me, Shekhar, and Shobha. He would remember us, and slowly that faded out. However, it was a blessing in disguise. He just had no problem. Remember baby Jimmy the Sagar Sangita who told everything about her life and her association with Dada and my mother. I took him to India 3 years ago and to meet everybody there. So about 50 people came for a gathering like this. He recognized 3. All 47 people were vehemently trying to make him understand, remember some incidents in their life. He couldn't understand anything. So, but then they gave up. And baby brought him back to Atlanta. So she came to the airport, sat in the plane with him, and they were sitting together. Halfway through somewhere, he had to go to the bathroom. So he went there, and of course he lost the direction. He didn't know where he was going. So the flight attendant brought him back to his seat. And baby was sitting there. Oh, when did you come here? That was it. It was so good that he had no recollection, no stress at all. And he was still, anybody walks in, Dada me says, oh, are kitty you said That's how he was. He did not want to reveal that he doesn't know what's happening to outsiders. Ours was a different story. Incidentally, I want to introduce to you Jayant and Paddy. Jayant is my Dada's brother, younger brother's son, and he's our. Thanks, you. Go ahead. It's yours. Your turn.
Well, I just have 2 brief stories. Well, first is the fact that we wouldn't be here, and I'm just speaking English. My son is over. One of my sons and his fiancée is over here. You guys might have met before. We wouldn't be here without Dada because my father is the youngest of 8, and Dada was number 5, but the oldest brother. And he basically stopped his education so that everybody else, including my father. So, as Mangal's email said, none of us would be here or what we are today if he hadn't made the sacrifices that he did. And despite the fact that he fathered 1 son, that's still a problem. We're grateful for Shekhar. But I think that's an important part, that he really was the fount that all of us just heard about and know about. The part that I find funny was that through the Thanksgiving meetings and gatherings, we now had the oldest brother and the youngest brother were the last 2 survivors. And for the last few Thanksgivings, they'd get together, they'd talk, and then clearly we'd go back to our own homes. But the last time, that comes up, well, before he started forgetting, he came up to me and said, hey, and I said, what? He said, well, don't put me next to your father because he can't hear me. And my father has hearing aids which he refuses to wear. And it's his 89th birthday is actually This year it's his 90th birthday. And a little while later at the same Thanksgiving, my dad comes up and says, "Hey, don't put me next to Dada." I said, "Why is that?" "Well, he can't understand me." Pictures you see over here are basically. But with that in mind, I'm sorry Dad couldn't make it, but the trip for him would be very rough. And so one of the things that he did remind me of is the fact that he wouldn't be where he is today without him. So just glad to be here for the celebration, and I'll keep the tears back.
Thanks for coming. दादांच्या ह्याच्या त्यांच्या डिमेन्शियामध्ये ते सगळे असे घरी यायचे आणि भिंतीकडे बघत होते. त्याला विचारलं, काय बघतं, काय डोक्यात काय चाललं? नाही रे, काय नाही. म्हणलं, दादा तुमचे 100% जीन्स मी घेतलेले आहेत, मला माहिती पाहिजे आपण काय करतो. मनापासून हसले, कळत काही नव्हतं, मनापासून हसले. खरंच ब्लॅक कसं असेल? अरे पण विचार काय येणार? विचार काही नाही येत, ते झाड चांगलं आहे आणि हा काय विचार झाला असं ते. So I just want to let you know how he went through his life, the latter part of it, which was a hard part for him and all of us. But that was very short compared to all 96 years that he lived. So he was a blessed soul. Anybody else?
I'll say something. My husband Vijay's dad and Dada were in the same home in Lawrenceville, and because of that we got to see him many more times. And every time I went in and I said, "Dada, kashe aaj?" "Arey, tumhi Marathi bolta?" So he was very happy about that. "Acha, tumcha naam kai?" You know, so he'd carry on this wonderful conversation. And so then after a while I thought, yeah, he's so with it on the surface. And I asked Shekhar, can I get him something to read? You know, I told him that I had my Marathi Mandal directory in the car. So I said, "एक मिनिट मी काहीतरी घेऊन येते." आणि मग बाकी काही त्यांना वाचायची इंटरेस्ट दिसला नाही. मी म्हटलं, आता ह्यातले लोक बघा, आता शेखर देशपांडे, विजय देशपांडे, सो नेम लिस्टमध्ये आम्ही सगळे शोधले. हां बरोबर आहे. तर अच्छा, देन ही न्यू ऑल हिज ग्रँड किड्स. बरोबर, तुम्हाला कसं माहिती? सो ही यूज्ड टू ऑलवेज. अँड देन आय सेड, मग तुम्हाला मंगल वगैरे माहिती आहे ना? स्वामी माझा लाडका. I just have that memory of, you know, it just came out of him like that. And he was so warm and friendly to everybody. But yeah, we'll miss him.
Okay. Please.
My name is Shashank Badasnis. I'm Vijay Dada and Shekhar Dada's cousin from California. And we've known, at least I've known Dada for obviously my entire life. My dad came here in the 1950s actually. And so we've seen him both in India and here. The one thing I wanted to just pass on was that in today's world we have calendars and phones and Facebook and everything to remind you about when your birthday is or when your anniversary is or any of that stuff. But I didn't need any of that for a long time because I had Dada. Every day on my birthday, I think my sister's birthday, my anniversary even, I'd get a letter from him on that day. And it's in a time when email allows you to send an email at the very last second, right when you remember. He would remember days before and send that letter and get it to California on that day. And so I just want to pass that on because it's a very special memory to me.
Actually, his father who brought me here. So we have the chain is going like that. His father sponsored me at that time, 1968. So I came here. They drove me. I went to California first. He and his mother, his father and mother, they drove me from there to University of Missouri, and then they took her around. But he was my mentor for at least 3-4 years until it got out of his hands. So then, and now these kids have grown up. Dada went to his wedding in California at that time.
All right. Okay. I think what we'll do now is for the closing, Dr. Thambe will lead us in the closing. And then, if you want more food, it's buffet. So if it was Dada, he would go eat more. so feel free, obviously.
Something sweet.
Oh yeah. So they have something sweet.
I'm going to go back and forth between Marathi and English. Some of you don't understand Marathi, but please have patience. मी इथे जो उभा आहे तो एका महाभारताचा उपसंहार सांगण्यासाठी उभा आहे. It's very difficult. And I was talking to my wife this morning. I said the difficult part is you have seen the person in a certain way, and you talk about him, and then his children and his grandchildren say, who is this person? But I heard all these people talking here, suddenly realized I knew the genuine article, I knew the real person. What I knew, that was him. He probably couldn't be a phony. I met him about 30 years back. By that time, he had already retired. He was an old man, about my age. Now, I was a little bit apprehensive. I had the kind of feeling that this fellow Mayur would have when he's coming to me. Oh gosh, I have to go pay my respects to this old guy. Now, you know that Dada was very fond of poetry. He once gave me a book of poems as a gift. I'm going to read some lines from it from time to time. Then I'll tell you some more and go on with the same poem. What I expected is a person for whom दुपार झाली चहा झाला पुढे काय, फिरून आलो क्लब झाला पुढे काय, वेळ संपत नाही ही शिकायत, मरत नाही ही लाचारी आणि आत्महत्या हे पाप, वाढत्या गर्दीनं त्याला बाजूला सारलेलं असतं आणि तावडीत सापडलेल्यांना कोपऱ्यात गाठून तो उपदेशाचं गढूळ पाणी चमच्यानं बाजू घालतो, दिसेल त्याला अध्यात्म सांगतो. So that was my fear when I went to heaven. What I used to see when I went to Vijay's house was a guy sitting in front of TV watching a brave